Jackson Wang, Got 7 alum, dropping a solo album here, Dave. I mean, you turned me on to this a late addition to our docket for the week. What made you want to listen to this?
Well, I didn't know it was coming out, so that snuck up on me
There we
there.
go.
Jackson Wang's second album, Magic Man. I think the reason he was on my radar, his solo career, as you said, Got 7 alum, is because he's part of 88 Rising now. We heard him on the second 88 Rising group album, and I think most notoriously, earlier this year, he lit up social media as part of the 88 Rising set at Coachella 2022, where he tore the roof off and had a lot of people swooning and whatnot. So I think it's just, there's a lot of hype. He's been famous. He's been uh, having many fans for a long time, as you said, as part of Got 7. And I actually think his career is a bit interesting due to the way he's gone about it. All of Got 7 actually left JYP Entertainment and are now an independently operated K-pop group. Kind of cool to see that, how unusual that is. And then Jackson, for his own solo career, a few years in the running now with his own label he made, Team Wang. So
Hmm.
it looks like Team Wang linked up with 88 for US distribution. Not really sure the details of that, but I definitely wanted to check this out, especially once I heard those two singles, which definitely did not give the vibe I was expecting. This is not like some of his earlier stuff, like some of his earlier hits. That was much more pop and R&B. This is a lot more rock influenced. It's not like LMLY. Those new songs, Blow and Cruel. There's some guitars here, man. Very exciting.
Yeah, definitely not what I expected. Turning this on, and though I didn't really love everything about the album, I felt like there were probably like a 4 or 5 songs I came away being like, "Oh, that's pretty great." And I think it was interesting because before I really did a little bit of more research onto like who this guy actually was, I kind of just went in blind listening to it. I thought it was like I thought it was like an interesting, almost like bridge in a sense between like more modern rock leaning pop sound into like a more like traditional like guitar heavy rock sound. And I was like, there's definitely like elements I hear of like some like 70s like more classic rock guitars in here, a little bit more like washed out like 90s grunge at times. And so it almost felt like like it's like this guy is trying to not only make an album that is palatable to today's like younger people who maybe aren't as inclined to rock music, but also like be true to like probably some of his bigger influences. And then finding out that he's a K-pop alum, I was like, man, I don't know where this came from, but I really love this. This is just I'm really impressed that he went this route. So I was pretty pleased.
Yeah, pretty reminiscent of the J-Hope solo album that
Yeah.
we just heard, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that's what has really grabbed me was listening to Blow and listening to Cruel. You have these really sick guitar riffs, and then Jackson's, I think his vocals, like the performance is really committed on those
Mhm.
songs. And then I think the next three songs as well, Champagne Cool, Go Ghost, and Drive It Like You Stole It, they're not quite as hard as Blow and Cruel, but still kind of rocky. I think Go Ghost adds some more synth production there. And then there's just some really fun flourishes on some of these tracks. I think the pre-chorus on Go Ghost is incredibly catchy. And then on Champagne Cool, his performance on the chorus is just, again, really engaging. The last five songs, I think he slows it down a little bit. I'm not quite as interested. But those first five, I was really digging.
Yeah, it's actually funny because I think I would go one song later to Come Alive and say like
Mhm.
that's kind of where the cutoff is for me. Like Drive It Like You Stole It and Champagne Cool didn't really grab me as much. They're a little bit more like 80s dancey sounding, but on Come Alive, there's that build up that leads to the chorus with like the guitars just kind of like I don't even know. They're just like bending around his voice in a really cool way. I thought that was a really fun song. I think the clear standout to me on this. I mean, Blow is good, but Cruel is the clear like one for me on this. And I just loved hearing these like kind of guitars on like a K-pop album. I was like, yeah, this is especially after some of the ones we've been listening to recently, which have been a little bit more like in that traditional K-pop mold of like more like
Mhm.
EDM sounding. This just felt like such a breath of fresh air in a sense. So really excited to see where he goes next with all of this. Um, Any other tracks you want to shout out, or
No, I think those are it. But it is just really cool to hear someone who it's not like he had taken a big break between music, but he really switched up his sound over the course of the last year and a half. Really cool to see, and I'm looking forward to hearing more and seeing what his role on 88 Rising continues to be as well.
well, we're gonna add a song from Magic Man to our Nostalgia Best of 2022 playlist. So follow that on Spotify.